Yo guys, it's Andrew. Now, this is the second part to a long series I'm doing of experiencing Guild Wars 2 as a completely new player, a noob. And if you want to see the first part of my really long adventure, there will be a link in the description below if you want to watch that first part first before you watch this. Now, if you are here after watching that first part, or you just want to see this part, welcome. I appreciate all the comments, the love, and the support from the previous video. It's been way more than I expected. It's been awesome. This community is very welcoming and nice, and I just really appreciate all the positivity that's being spread. Again, if you guys have any ideas of what I should do in Guild Wars 2, or things you may even want to see me do in terms of YouTube videos about Guild Wars 2, or even other things, let me know in the comments below. And remember to like and subscribe as well, and comment to see more of this series and other videos in the future. Now then, let's begin. So now, my engineer has gone to level 30. The leveling time is definitely slowing down a bit, but the enemies are also getting slightly more challenging, which I'm really enjoying a lot. I don't really mind the leveling time slowing down either, as I really enjoy long adventures and long drawn out journeys. And the adventure guide system is honestly helping a lot in terms of me getting lots of extra chunks of experience. If I feel like I'm slowing down a little bit too much, then I'll just go do adventure guide stuff to get even more XP. I'm still absolutely enjoying the rifle as the engineer, my favorite weapon. I did try out the pistols again during these 10 levels, and I did try it to see if I liked it, but I just found myself going back to the rifle immediately because the rifle is just way too much fun. The crowd control it has is just so good, and I absolutely love how fast it feels, despite only pretty much pressing 2 buttons the majority of the time. It's simple, yet just so satisfying and fun. Lastly, I completed, I 100%ed the Queensdale zone, which is the first zone for the humans. And I've gotten a bit of progress done in the second zone, which is Kessex Hills. I absolutely love the Queensdale, and I'm really excited to explore Kessex Hills even more than what I have done now. It's been really fun. Now, to get into my personal story. After dealing with the threat against the bandits that had an insider in the human city of Divinity's Reach, I got word from Logan Thackeray again that there was new news that a certain Falcon company, an elite company of soldiers from Divinity's Reach, was actually possibly still alive and may have had survivors, despite being notified that they have all died. Now, my character then automatically just sprung up and mentioned that his sister was actually a part of that specific company, and there very well may be a chance that she is still alive, despite being told that she had died in the Falcon Company when they were ambushed by the Centaur. Once again, as I said before in the previous part of this series, I just cannot get over how much I really like these touches on that personal story. The fact that my choices have this much expression, and this much of a deciding factor on my personal story, I just think it's really great. I think it's awesome. The Guild Wars 2's RPG feel, with how personal the story feels, specifically being told about your character, just feels fantastic. More than how other MMOs do it. It feels like you're just complete control of how things go. Now, maybe that'll change in the future with the expansion storylines or the Living World storylines. But the beginning personal storyline just feels very personal, and it's been gripping me really well and getting me into the game. But besides that, I spoke up to Logan Thackeray and said that I wanted to investigate this personally for him so that I can figure out where my sister might be, if she was even still alive. I was then told to speak to Captain Tervellin, who used to be the leader of the Falcon Company, but he was promoted to be the captain of the Queensdale area. So I went and I spoke to him, but then the Centaur had invaded the area, in which we had to stop them. And then, after we stopped them with Captain Tervellin passively aggressively told me that he will not send soldiers to die for a company that is already dead. And if I want to find out what happened to that company, I should go figure it out myself, and with another soldier named Bigsby. Bigsby and I went to the local Centaur encampment and cleared it out, and we found a half-buried journal of a Falcon Company soldier who said in his journal that Tervellin had sold them out to the Centaur. My character was absolutely furious with this, super furious, and I went to deal with Tervellin myself, with the proof that we had found. and Bigsby went to go contact Logan Thackeray while I went to pursue Tervelin. Tervelin had brokered a deal with the Ettins to protect him, and when I went to go deal with Tervelin, he trapped me with the Ettins. And after I dealt with those Ettins, Tervelin tried to escape while I was busy, and Logan appeared and struck him down. Realizing that one of the lords of the... We realized then, after what had Tervelin told us, that one of the lords of Divinity's Reach wanted to blackmail the Queen to look bad because of the Falcon Company's failure. We did further investigation in the next zone, Kessex Hills, at a bandit encampment who was hired to kill a previously Falcon Company soldier, and found out that the lord that actually did sponsor the Falcon Company actually was blackmailed himself. That same lord who we thought was blackmailing the Queen was actually the one who got blackmailed. And he was blackmailed to look like a traitor because of this. But it was actually another lord named Lord Caudicus who did it actually. And at that same bandit camp, I was actually able to find my sister, and we freed her after being held prisoner and having to deal with the deaths of her entire company. I actually really liked this story, honestly. This part of the story was pretty good, and it definitely interested me a lot. I was interested to see every turn it took, and I found it to be a bit better than the previous part of the story. And honestly, I'm really interested to see the next turns that this story will take, and I'm really excited to see what comes next after this. And it's going to be really fun. But besides the personal story, as I said before, I've been absolutely loving playing Engineer. Playing Engineer has been awesome, and using the rifle weapon too. And as I've been getting into the higher levels, enemies are starting to chip my health even more. So using my crowd control abilities and dodging is becoming more and more important as I level up. Which I think is, honestly, it's pretty nice. I'm glad that the game is gradually adjusting itself in difficulty as I level. Even in open world content, which not many MMOs do. Usually open world content in a lot of MMOs is just a flat bar of difficulty that doesn't get any harder than it usually does. Now, besides that, once I had reached level 21, I unlocked the ability to learn a new specialization, which I was really excited about. I saw the Engineer had 5 specializations, which was the Explosive Spec, Firearms, Inventions, Alchemy, and Tools, which are all really cool sounding. I thought it was cool. Of course, being the fact that I've been using a rifle most of my time as an engineer, my eye first sprung towards firearms. And that is pretty much what I went for first. I saw firearms, I was like, hey, I'm going into that one, because all I've been using is a firearm, so may as well do that. I didn't check out the others too much, but I'll definitely need to learn what the others do over time. It does seem like, though, from what I did see, that Explosives has a lot of on-use abilities that I can add to my character's abilities. And Firearms has a lot of passives for guns, like pistols and the rifle, of course. And Alchemy, the Alchemy spec, seems to be the specialization to go into for a more supportive role as Engineer, which is pretty interesting. The others I don't know much about just yet. And in any case, though, I started to put all of my skill points into Firearms, like I said. Getting abilities like having extra crit chance, getting more crits, and having a chance to actually bleed the target if I do crit. And when I cause bleeding, I actually get a might buff, or a boon, as they call it in Guild Wars 2. And I also have an increased chance to crit on bleeding enemies. I really, really like how a lot of these traits end up snowballing off of each other. And I'm sure over time, when I get more specialization traits, it will feel way more snowbally and be stacking on top of each other even more, and it'll feel awesome. Even now, it feels really good to inflict lots of bleed just to get even more might stacks, just to get even more bleed and crit. And with Rifle's direct damage, it hits really hard, and it is really satisfying and really fun, especially with the rifle. Overall, though, I'm really happy with Engineer still, and it's been getting better and better as I level. It's been great. I do wonder how other classes feel at this level, though, and once I get Engineer to a place that I'm happy with, and maybe I'll go try the others, honestly. We'll see. But Engineer definitely will be first. Let me know what you guys think of the other classes and what you find fun. I'm interested to hear in the comments. But besides character progression and combat, the vast and open breathing world has still been the absolute highlight of all my hours playing Guild Wars 2 so far. The story has been good, the combat has felt really great, and but just exploring and running around and doing random things I want to do has been the best highlight of all the things in Guild Wars 2 so far to me. I ended up coming across a human encampment in a forest, and there was a lot of shouting going on in that specific camped area. And the captain inside, who was doing all the shouting, he said that the Centaur are on approach. He was screaming it. And right then and there, an event started when I entered, and a large swarm of Centaur just started trying to come into the camp and trying to kill everybody, even civilians. And it was wave after wave after wave of trying to protect this human camp from the Centaur. It was really fun, and I wonder what would have happened if I wasn't there, or if anyone wasn't there, like if no players were there. Maybe the Centaur would have ended up killing all the people that were there. Also, another experience I had was also exploring a large field that was relatively empty. It was a nice field, minus a few Centaur here and there being there as well. And out of nowhere, I was just exploring, and I saw a massive plant just crash land into the large field, and a bunch of people called the Toxic Alliance just started coming out of nowhere and attacking everybody. I have no idea what the Toxic Alliance is, or who they are, or what they do, but they started killing me, and it scared the hell out of me because they just did so much damage to me. The objective of the event was to free some engineers that they had captured, and me and all the other players that had arrived, both low and high level players, freed the engineers, and then after the event was finished and we were rewarded, another event right after it just started, and the engineers asked us to protect them so that they can take down that massive plant that crash landed into the middle of the field. The engineers started building catapults, and we had to protect them from wave after wave of toxic knights trying to stop the engineers and the catapults. Eventually, the catapults completely destroyed the toxic knights' big plant, and they all retreated. Now, these dynamic events, they really are what make Guild Wars 2 for me. So far, it's been just amazing. It's just so crazy how these things can just randomly appear out of nowhere and change the course of where you think you're going to go, and what you're going to do, and what objectives you're going to do. And just appear a whole dynamic event that changes based on the course of your actions and what you do. It's an extremely positive part of the game that I absolutely love, and stuff like this is honestly something I wish other MMOs would do. As I said before in my previous video, WoW and Final Fantasy XIV sort of have this thing like this, like World Quest in WoW, which isn't really that close to this, and the Fate system in Final Fantasy XIV, which it resembles it a little bit more, but it's just nowhere near the quality of the dynamic events in Guild Wars 2. It's just absolutely awesome how I can just tell these tiny stories to you guys, just from random experiences I encounter exploring the world of Guild Wars 2. I can go on about this, but plainly, it's just great. It's absolutely awesome. I can keep nerding on about it, but we will continue, and I just can't wait to see what other dynamic events and random encounters I will stumble upon as I keep going forward in my adventures in Guild Wars 2. I can't wait. But besides that, I have some opinions about leveling so far. So far I've been really enjoying the leveling process. I don't know if I'm right about this, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm leveling pretty fast, and I'm over-leveling as well, I think. Because I'm only in the second area for the humans, and I'm already level 30. It's been a very smooth experience so far, and I've been really enjoying it. Even though I've just been literally relaxing and taking my time with the game, exploring every nook and cranny as much as I can, trying to find everything I can, because I really enjoyed 100% in Queensdale. So I want to try and do that for a good amount of the zones I go through, at least for the zones I actually really enjoy. Honestly, I think my only negatives I have with my leveling experience so far in Guild Wars 2 is every time that you level, sometimes there is so much information overload every time you level, giving you tons of information about new things that I can do which I just don't really understand, and sometimes notifications pop up that appear over and over again until they go away. It's just, for me, it's a little too much. Sometimes I just don't understand what's happening. It's not a horrible thing, but it's definitely a bit of an annoyance when I'm just not understanding all the information that's being thrown at me. That, and besides that, the inventory system has also been a bit annoying at times as well. As I said, it hasn't been completely horrible, but I don't really like how you have to go and buy inventory space from the in-game store just to get more inventory space. I feel like all of the inventory space should be in the game already, and you should have it if you bought the expansions already. Nevertheless, though, besides those relatively small negatives, I've you know, I've still been absolutely enjoying my leveling experience. I've loved it so far. And I'm really excited to see how it goes as I continue through Guild Wars 2. Now, overall, I've been absolutely looking forward to learning more about Guild Wars 2. And it's really hooked me into the experience, and I just cannot wait to experience more of and see what awaits in the future of Guild Wars 2. For me in Guild Wars 2. If there are any new players that are currently watching this video, the game is definitely worth trying from levels 1 to 30. I haven't made it any farther than that on my engineer character, so maybe it'll be worth trying even further. But if you're wondering and wanting to try the game, I can definitely tell you that levels 1 to 30 have been an extremely fun experience for myself, with very minor negatives. I've been learning much and more about my class, and the specializations the class has to offer to make things even more fun. I've been really enjoying the story. This part of the story was really good in my opinion. And the dynamic events, of course, have just been the absolute best part of the game, and makes the world of Guild Wars 2 feel that much more alive. I keep getting surprised with how great the world is and how it feels to explore through it, with all the randomness it has to its encounters. I still don't know everything about Guild Wars 2's positives and negatives, of course. Every MMO I've ever played has many positives and also many negatives too. But I really can't wait to become more experienced with this game, so I can learn the positives and negatives and really tell people about it so that they can make their own opinions as well, or if they're new, try to experience the game for themselves. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I appreciate it if you've made it this far. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on the video or the series as a whole. And once again, let me know if you want me to make any specific videos on Guild Wars 2 that you guys might want to see, or maybe if you want to see me cover other MMOs. Let me know. I look at all my comments and suggestions, and I absolutely love talking with you guys. Now again, I appreciate you guys making it this far in the video. Have a good day, have a good week. Enjoy just all the games as much as you play, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.